All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. I want to speak directly to you business leaders out there who urgently need to separate AI fact from fiction. Look, if you're sitting in a leadership position today trying to navigate these endless headlines and buzzwords, honestly, you probably feel a deep sense of fatigue. It's so easy to just assume that a lot of what we're hearing is just futuristic fantasy, right? Well, based on some absolutely incredible recent insights from tech executive Mo Dot, we are going to completely dismantle that assumption. We're going to show you exactly why the true power of AI is actually flying under the radar and why the foundations of legacy software, well, they're already starting to fracture. So let's hook you right off the bat with this. A startup called Emma recently achieved a massive $100 million valuation by Valentine's Day. Now get this. Gaudat founded this startup with literally just an idea last September. They didn't even start coding until November. And by mid-February, boom, they launched at that staggering valuation. For investors, this right here is the new ultimate indicator of a high-value venture. We're talking about an astronomically high ratio of output to headcount. This wasn't the result of some massive corporate incubator or years of burning through venture capital. No, this was roughly 8 weeks of actual development.
This brilliantly illustrates the staggering phase-shifted acceleration in how fast a tiny team can build massive value today. Think about it. If Gaudet had started this exact same company back in 2022, which, let's be real, wasn't that long ago, he estimates it would have required an army of 350 engineers in 4 full years to launch. Instead, using today's AI tools, it took exactly 4 people. That is Gaudet, his co-founder, 1 brilliant engineer, or, as he affectionately calls them, his 3 geeks, and 1 person running their social media. That's the whole shebang. The world's speed limit for innovation has fundamentally changed.
Section 1. The underestimated reality. Now, because of this massive acceleration, your absolute biggest challenge as a leader isn't actually acquiring technology. It's accurately judging its current state. I really want to anchor our entire analysis on this powerful realization from Mo Dot. He says AI is not overhyped, it's phase-shifted and underhyped. We often assume that because it's in the news every single day, it's got to be overblown, right? Well, the reality is the exact opposite. The true capabilities of the raw code right now are vastly underhyped. Section 2. Hype versus reality. Let's break down where this confusion is coming from, because honestly, all this noise is distracting leaders from the immediate threats. A huge chunk of the hype cycle right now revolves around AGI, artificial general intelligence, and, waiting for machines to match human intellect across the board. And sure, yes, AGI is going to change the world. But waiting for AGI to arrive before you react, that is a fatal business error. You absolutely do not need AGI to experience immediate paradigm-shifting disruption. As we just saw, today's standard AI is more than capable of building $100 million companies in just 9 weeks.
So you might be asking yourself, okay, if it's so powerful, why isn't it in my daily workflow right now? Well, Gauda points out this fascinating dynamic, and it's actually a perfect framework for leaders trying to find high-impact AI use cases today. You need to look for the interface gap. See, most leaders interact with technology through polished user interfaces. But right now, the raw AI code is advancing way, way faster than the interfaces being built to package it. Because that polished layer is missing, non-technical leaders just assume the capability isn't there yet. But the engineers, they know the reality is already here. Your highest impact use cases are hiding right now in that gap, where the raw code is totally capable, but the commercial software just hasn't caught up.
Section 3. The moving agent hack. To really prove what this raw code can do, let's look at a super practical example, an apartment move. So Godot and his co-founder had this tight 48-hour deadline to deliver some code, but the co-founder suddenly had to move to another city, unexpectedly. Now, normally, coordinating a move eats up, a solid week of productivity and pretty much shreds your sanity. Instead, they spent 20 minutes, just 20 minutes, hacking together an AI agent. And this agent didn't just Google things for them. It literally called 52 moving companies on the actual phone. It detected their native languages, conversed flawlessly, requested proposals, sorted through all the inbound emails, and then presented 2 finalists. And then, when they asked it to negotiate a 15% better deal, the AI picked the phone back up, negotiated, signed the proposal, and booked the job. Built in 20 minutes. This is the kind of real productivity happening today.
Section 4. End of legacy software. Now, I want you to take that personal productivity hack and scale it all the way up to the enterprise level. Gaudat really doesn't mince words here. Today's AI is poised to completely wipe out massive legacy platforms. Think about those heavy, cumbersome ERP systems. Think about Microsoft Word, which fundamentally is still rocking architecture from the 1980s. Think about literally every single line of outdated COBOL code that's currently propping up the financial sector. These are not safe strongholds anymore, folks. They are prime targets for a complete reimagining. To see this at a truly global scale, just look at companies like Anthropic. They've already demonstrated capabilities that can analyze, understand, and rewrite globally deployed infrastructure. Like, they showed they could rewrite the code running literally every single ATM on the planet. For decades, the only real barrier to replacing legacy software was the sheer number of human hours required to rewrite millions of lines of code. Well, that barrier just completely evaporated. Section 5. Urgent action for leaders. If you are currently relying on slow, legacy systems for your competitive moat, you need to adopt a radical sense of urgency right now. Somewhere today, tiny teams of brilliant engineers are looking at bloated enterprise software, and they're asking, how do we build an AI that just walks into this database, understands it, and rewrites the whole thing from scratch? So to survive, leaders must immediately run a 3-step internal audit. First, you've got to identify your most repetitive, human-heavy workflows. Second, test those exact workflows against today's raw AI models, bypass the commercial software altogether. And third, start deploying custom specialized agents to automate those paths internally before some nimble startup disrupts you from the outside. The phase shift we've been talking about, it's already happening.
I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to really challenge how quickly you're adapting. Stop looking at the distant horizon, waiting for the singularity, and start aggressively auditing your current tech stack. If a startup can reach a $100 million valuation with just 4 people in 8 weeks, the traditional rules of scale simply no longer apply. So as you look at the fundamental software running your operations today, you really need to ask yourself, who out there is rewriting your database right now? Take that thought with you, and we'll see you in the next explainer.